Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at gcnlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Watch the greenbacks tumble.
Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Here we go. Your dial is set correctly to USAPrepares.com. John is engineering the broadcast in Minnesota. Dr. Norman Shealy is with us. Dr. Shealy, are you blissed?
You bet.
Smells like bliss here in the studio. I think there's a possibility I might have overdone it. So, Dr. Shealy, your clinic is now open, yes?
It is officially open, 2840 East Chestnut Expressway.
You know, I was trying to make my way over there yesterday afternoon, but I was too late. It was about 4:30, 4:45. What time do you close?
Well, once things get going, it'll be 5, but, you know, we're still sort of organizing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I'm all excited about coming to visit you in your clinic. And for those of you who would like to meet Dr. Norm Shealy in person in Springfield, Missouri, could you give us that address one more time, Dr. Shealy?
2840 East Chestnut Expressway.
Yep, and that's in Springfield, Missouri. 2840 East Chestnut Expressway, Springfield, Missouri. And your hours of operation are?
Basically, we'll see patients from 9 to 5.
9 to 5. Okay. Call for an appointment?
Yes, 861-5538.
That's 417-861-5538.
You got it.
Okay. So, one more time, class, if you'd like to make an appointment to see Dr. Norman Shealy, 417-861-5538. And that's 2840 East Chestnut Expressway, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
And,
Dr. Shealy, excuse me?
And they get 2 opinions for the price of 1.
Yes. So
My new associate, Dr. Soren, has joined me.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Soren and Dr. Norman Shealy. So when you have your first appointment, you will have... Can you imagine this, class? It won't be 7 minutes. It'll be 2 doctors for your first appointment.
And it'll be an hour.
Yeah. I'm all excited about that, Dr. Shealy. I really am. I was chatting with John, our engineer, just before the broadcast started. And I was telling him that I was at the Chinese factory outlet yesterday. I wanted to get some cayenne peppers, fresh peppers, that I could wash and make a tincture with, fresh garlic and fresh cayenne peppers and other hot peppers. And when I was checking out, I noticed that there was this young lady. She was a kind of a pretty young lady. I'd say maybe 20 at the most. She was at the register, the checkout register, and she had these things in her face. They were metallic objects, maybe for better reception, but young people are sticking these piercings in their face. They're sticking them in their nose, through their nose, around. They have clip-on rings for their nose. They have piercings through their cheeks. It's disgusting. And it really turns me off, and it goes with, and then they use Kool-Aid, I believe, to dye their hair, so kind of like a blue, a light blue. Then they have pink, then they have purple, and they have some red dye 40 for their hair as well. It's really weird, and it really turns me off because I think of these people are sticking these things in their nose and their face. and then they want to handle my food, or they want to take my order, or bring me, whatever the meal is at a restaurant. It's really turning me off. Not that I go to a restaurant very often, because I don't. And that's what we see, Dr. Shealy. We see this disfigurement, and I guess they think it's cool. Do you think that there's some kind of a problem these people are compensating for? Maybe lack of self-esteem or self-confidence. I mean, why would somebody disfigure themselves, permanently? Well, with the piercings, put a hole in them, or brand themselves, or have somebody brand them with ink. Why would they do that?
Well, obviously, you're a good psychologist there. There's no question this is something to do with inadequate, in my opinion, distorted self-esteem. And from my point of view, it would make me feel far worse. The idea of disfiguring your physical body that way is appalling. That's being kind.
Yeah,
not quite as bad as changing sex gender, but
well, Bruce Jenner's thinking about having a weeniectomy.
well, he should have thought about that before he got on the cover of a magazine, in my opinion, and then had a gene transplant to see if he could get rid of his Y DNA. I don't know. We've talked about this before, but I think transgender sex change is about as sick as people can get without being totally psychotic. And I know I'll be banned forever by certain businesses, like the poor governor of North Carolina, who just said you've got to go in the bathroom that's on your birth certificate.
You have to go in the bathroom that it says on your birth certificate.
Yes.
So if they determined that you were male anatomically, then
they're
you're
not
male.
going to, I guess, physically examine you, but supposedly transgenders males who dress as a female in every other state in the union now are allowed to go into the ladies' restroom. Public. Not North Carolina. He signed the bill, I think it was yesterday.
Dr. Shealy, I was in the men's room at the Chinese Factory Outlet years ago. And this woman walked in. She was talking on her cell phone, pushing her baby stroller. So obviously it was a woman. And she was so distracted that she pushed her stroller into the men's room. There are guys standing at the urinal. There were guys at the sink. And there are guys in the stalls. And she just walked in. It's like, yo, hey, pay attention. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. And she backed out. But I think that's what we should do. I mean, if we see women coming into the men's room, we should let them know that they've really gone in the wrong place. And men and women's room.
It's a strange world. Interestingly, what you just brought up brings up an old familiar topic also: cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
I now know why I think cell phones are so emotionally, physically, mentally distracting from normal life. People who have cell phones, these things buzz 10, 20, 40 times a minute. Some text message is coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Some emails coming in. Some phone calls coming in, even when you're talking, and it's buzzing, and you're feeling it and hearing it, even while you're talking on the phone. I mean, it's crazy. You don't need that kind of distraction. And you really don't need to be walking down the aisle talking on the phone. I consider all of this a severe deficit of normal behavior.
Well, let's take it to an extreme, Dr. Shealy. So the surgeon's in the operating room, right? And
he's got a what do you call it, Bluetooth on.
Yeah. Or he's got the cell phone in his right front pocket because he's right-handed, as most of us are, and he's got his cell phone in his right front pocket, and it's buzzing, and he's ready to, well, he's already in the process of cutting. He's ready to make the next cut. And so, hold on, let me check this. or the nurse is checking her phone. I mean, so there's 6 people in the operating room, and they're checking their cell phones, and the patient's in distress. This is nuts, absolutely nuts. And if let me share something with you. I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but I was on the phone with Bert Bertonis, and he's a radio frequency engineer, cell phone engineer in Silicon Valley, California. I've known him for a very long time. And he and I were talking. He said, Vinny, you're not going to believe this. He was hired to do a consulting job for a university that had a dormitory. And the dormitory's plan, the initial plan was to install on this multi-level, multi-floor dormitory 100 access points, Wi-Fi, so the students could connect their devices. He was telling me that the typical student has about 4 wireless devices, like a PC, a phone, maybe a game box, and something else. It could be a watch, it could be some other wireless device. So what happened is when the company installed this, they said, all right, we've got so many users here, let's set the level of transmission to the maximum power. So they can manually set them so that the devices can be set at, we'll call it level 1 through level 10, 10 being the highest. And they turned them all up because there were so many devices they wanted to make sure they would communicate with each other. Well, what happened was people on the 4th floor were connecting to the wireless device on the 1st floor. People on the 1st floor were connecting to the wireless device on the 4th floor. And people down the hall were connecting, up the hall, those kinds of things. So, and they were all running at maximum power. And it didn't work. It didn't work very well because there was so much electromagnetic radiation that the signals were canceling each other. Now, there's several reasons why I'm bringing this up. We've heard of the electromagnetic radiation causing cancer and so forth. We also learned that radio transmissions are everywhere. And what I'm saying is now we have people who really don't know what they're doing setting these things up, and now we're being blasted invisibly with electromagnetic radiation. We can't see it. Some of us can feel it, but we can't see it. But we're all affected by it. And I'll tell you a little bit more about this story and how it was fixed when we come back. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now, with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
Remember Pearl Harbor. Now you can buy, for the first time ever, the 75th anniversary Pearl Harbor legal tender solid gold coin from the U.S. Money Reserve. Call 1-800-329-6700 right now or go online to usmoneyreserve.com. 1-800-329-6700.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and negative articles can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? ReputationDefender.com can help protect your good name. Get a free consultation now. Call 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis from ReputationDefender.com right now. Call 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com today.
No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Class Dr. Norman Shealy's with us. NormShealy.com, NormShealy.com. And you can sign up for the same free newsletter that I get multiple times per week by going to NormShealy.com. Dr. Shealy, so Bert Bertonis and I were talking about this, and he said that when they set up the Wi-Fi system, the design was for 100 access points. And the installation crew turned them up to full power. And then it didn't work. It didn't work very well. And they brought in another consulting company to find out what's going on, and they still couldn't fix it. And so they brought Bert Bertonis in, and he said, this is easy. The problem is that the signals are jamming each other, and there's a lot of electromagnetic radiation and interference. And he came up with a solution that was turn down the power, exactly what most people wouldn't think of. And the point is that here we have Wi-Fi installations everywhere we go. We go into supermarkets, we go into hospitals, we go into doctor's offices and so forth. So Wi-Fi is pretty much everywhere. And I'm wondering how many of the installers are turning them up to full power rather than the minimum amount of power to do the job. Because if you're in one building and let's say it's a close quarters like a strip mall, and you have Wi-Fi set up at your place, and every other business has their Wi-Fi, you probably, we'll just turn ours up so that we get our Wi-Fi, because the next business over and the one on the other side, the one behind us, they all have theirs turned up, so we have to turn ours up, and we're cooking each other, Dr. Shealy. That's the point.
You're making an exquisitely important point. And the interesting fact is that Wi-Fi is using frequencies that are not even detectable on your Gauss meter. I like to use my Gauss meter that gives you your 60 cycle electromagnetic activity. But the Wi-Fi is using essentially gigafrequencies, billions of cycles per second. In fact, they're using the frequency band that is human DNA frequency, 52 to 78 billion cycles a second. In fact, I think Wi-Fi goes up to 80 even. And therefore, we don't have an instrument to measure that in itself. We can measure the 60 cycle, but not these Wi-Fi frequencies.
It's of great concern to me that everywhere we go, and there's a website, I believe it's called Antenna Search, if I remember correctly. I've used it many times, where you can type in your location.
Something else that I feel, for the last 10 years, I've had the feeling that the energy of the earth, and I don't know whether it's human, probably, or otherwise, but the energy is what I call chaotic. It feels as if you never know whether an emergency is going to occur 1 second or 1 minute or 1 day or whatever from now. And it takes a lot of detachment not to feel that. Are you sensing that, Vince?
Absolutely.
And it seems to me that the last month is the worst it's ever been.
I agree with that. And I'm noticing more people coming down with diseases. Let me just share a few things with you. I get a chance to chat with a number of our instructors off the air every day. Our phone literally rings off the hook, and from before I go on the air till 10 o'clock at night. And one of the things that has been coming up is nightmares. And I've mentioned to some of our instructors that I'll say something like this: are you having strange dreams, disjointed dreams, dreams that make absolutely no sense, things that you would never do, places you would never go, things you've never even thought about are coming up in dreams? And the dreams don't start at the beginning. The dreams start somewhere in the end, or not near the end, or the first third, and they end abruptly, but they don't end at the end. They end somewhere before the end. So you don't know how the dream ends. It makes no sense at all. And hopefully you wake up and stop the dream, because it's terrifying. And it's things that you don't talk about. I mean, not taboo subjects. I mean, things that just don't come up. Things that you don't think about. They're in these dreams, and they're weird. And I'm not the only one having them. Other instructors are saying the same thing, and it's a brand new phenomenon. Can we talk about that when we come back?
Absolutely.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Worried about lead, fluoride, and other contaminants in your drinking water? Get a ProPure with the Pro 1G 2.0 cleanable reusable filter and remove up to 200 contaminants. Drink water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure products, including the new ProMax shower filter. There's a ProPure for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com or 800-544-3533.
Hey guys, Pat Matthews here to tell you about the newest and best way to sell products online. It's buysellmakeoffer.com, an enormously revolutionary way to sell your stuff online. It's time to clean out the garage, your old golf clubs, sports equipment, tools, and yes, even your car. Forget about the way the other guys have taken more than their share from you when the sales were finalized. Look, it's happened to me over and over and over. Then I found buysellmakeoffer.com. They will never charge you item fees. Just go there right now to sign up and load all your stuff to our server to sell. This is not an auction site. Sell your car, sell your home. Realtor, sign up now. Just use our resources along with Skype and videos, then add your creativity to sell your items quickly and with no fees. Go right now to buysellmakeoffer.com and sign up. The excitement is building. I've signed up to sell my stuff with buysellmakeoffer.com. You should too. buysellmakeoffer.com.
This is Dan Pillett. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, There's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
75 years ago, America suffered one of the worst moments in American history, the attack on Pearl Harbor. Now you can remember December 7th, 1941, with the purchase of the first ever 75th anniversary Pearl Harbor legal tender solid gold coin from the U.S. Money Reserve. Call 1-800-490-3200 right now for the official 75th anniversary Pearl Harbor legal tender gold coin from the U.S. Money Reserve, the only company authorized to distribute these 100% solid gold coins. Remember Pearl Harbor with this limited official gold release. 1-800-490-3200 or online at usmoneyreserve.com.
Are you worried about how dangerous the world has become? In these days of terrorist attacks, natural disasters, or even a future collapse, you need to be medically prepared to keep your family safe. I'm Joe Alton, MD of store.doomandbloom.net, where you'll find an entire line of uniquely designed medical kits and supplies for when help is not on the way. For everything from individual first aid kits to the ultimate family medical bag, go to store.doomandbloom.net today. That's store.doomandbloom.net. You'll be glad you did.
Biochemistry determines your mood, memory, energy, and endurance. Your body's primary metabolic function is to make protein. One World Whey is a unique, non-denatured protein. This enables your body to have virtually 100% utilization, whereas typical whey protein powders offer no more than 18% utilization of protein. One World Whey also delivers life-giving frequencies to your cells. The net result for so many people is improved energy, mood, and elimination of pain from inflammation.
This technologically enhanced One World Whey has been really amazing for me. I'm 36 years old, and for the past several years, I've been struggling with lack of energy, drive, and stamina. And after just 2 weeks on this product, I'm feeling so much more energy. My yoga practice has deepened, and as a massage therapist, I'm able to see more clients than I've been able to in years. I've never felt results that quick with anything I've ever taken.
Call 888-988-3325 or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworld.com.
Class Dr. Norman Shealy is with us, medical doctor, and we're talking about dreams. And Dr. Shealy, so these are dreams that don't make any sense at all. They are not sexual in nature. They're just weird. And let me give you an example. So, and this is a made-up example. So the dream occurs in a place that I've never been before, and I'm trying to walk up this hill, but I'm having trouble because there are bananas all over the ground. And it's a slight incline. I'm slipping on these bananas. And then I finally figure it out. And this must take maybe an hour to figure out how to solve this problem. And then it gets dark. And so I've figured it out, sort of, how to climb this slight incline, slipping on these bananas. But it starts to get dark, and now I can't see the bananas. And then the dream ends. So it'd be something like that. It's totally something you would never think about. And it's not just me. There are other instructors who are experiencing this as well, and it's a new phenomenon. What are your thoughts?
Well, again, I think, remember, Carl Jung talked about the collective unconscious. Mm-hmm. In other words, there's energy between people. You may or may not know that I have demonstrated that a healer, a true so-called spiritual healer, can affect the electroencephalogram, the electrical energy of your own brain, from up to 1,000 miles away. Mm-hmm. And I can ask the healer, okay, increase the 10-cycle activity, and they can do that. If they could do that, then all the random and other thoughts of 7+ billion people are all around us. And if all of those 7+ billion people are having a sense of chaos, some of them obviously becoming probably psychotic, and some of them becoming exquisitely anxious, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, then the energy that bathes us, the collective unconscious, in other words, is chaotic. And I think dreams are an attempt of the brain to get rid of excess trauma. But when the amount increases at a pace that is beyond anything that's happened in thousands of years, it's just not capable of adjusting.
Well, the people that I'm discussing this with are, 1,000 miles away. It's not like they're across the road. Literally,
right. It's not southern Missouri.
No, we're talking northern part of the United States, the eastern part of the United States, and the central part of the United States.
And how about Europe?
I believe in Europe too. I believe there's one of us in Europe who's having similar dreams. Really weird. It'd be one thing that if I read about it and then at night dreamt about it, or if let's say I was working on a tractor and I was having a really difficult situation. I was trying to figure out how to fix this thing, and then I dreamt about it. It's not like that. It's about things that I've don't make any sense. Literally don't make any sense. Just random thoughts, like walking up a hill and bananas. How does that work? How are they combined?
I think I got it.
Okay.
Torquum Saradarium, Torkom Saraydan, Torquum Saradarium, wrote a wonderful little 50-page booklet back in the early 70s called Irritation, the Destructive Fire. And he mentioned that the negativity of a human being could be imprinted, if you will, onto clothes or even the walls of a room or furniture. And the negativity, among other things, that cause what he called irritation, which results in what he called imperil. That word is pretty strong. He mentioned, for instance, somebody donated, I think, or gave to his family a couch. And his mother threw it out of the house and had it burned because it had so much negativity associated with it. So, again, if the 7+ billion people are having negative and randomly unmeaning or non-meaningful experiences, that's being implanted into everything on earth. And we are beginning to get saturated with it. Now, he did mention, now that brings me to getting rid of irritation or imperil. And there are 30 different ways, including, of course, great music, definitely not acid rock, which creates trouble. But his number 2 recommendation is roses. And I think you know that I use rose oil liberally and have since 1974. I think I've got to stop putting it just on my solar plexus, bathe in it.
That's very interesting that you say roses, Dr. Shealy. I was looking at rose plants yesterday at Sam's Club, and my mom is a roseaholic. She has so many, in her life she's had planted so many roses in a rose garden, and she just loves them. And she's planted some here at the farm, and she goes out and spends time with the roses. And isn't it customary to bring that date a rose or roses or someone you love roses? From a male
absolutely.
To a female.
And the energy of the rose flower is among the best in the world.
Fascinating. I never really put that connection together until as you were saying it. You were mentioning this negativity, and we're talking about electromagnetic radiation. So I went to antennasearch.com, and I typed in the address 1000 Pennsylvania Avenue, Southeast, Washington, D.C., 20003. There are 571 antennas in a 2-mile radius.
Wow.
That address. Now, there are more, those are just the ones that are found. Now that does not include, these are, there are 90 towers. 90 towers within a 2-mile radius. And on those antenna towers, there are, if I'm reading this properly, 571 antennas. And that does not include Wi-Fi, does not include microwave ovens, does not include very low power. These would be antennas that have been permitted, and the permit process has been verified, but and the antenna has been verified. That's unbelievable. Then I typed in Springfield, Missouri, and I picked
that is interesting. You know, in 2009, my wife and I drove up through Washington, D.C., among others. When we entered from Virginia into Washington, D.C., my pulse went up to over 110. My pulse is ordinarily 60 or below.
I believe that.
It remained, and I suddenly, I could feel it,
Yes.
And it stayed that way until we got out of Washington, D.C., and then as we're continuing to drive north, we passed Philadelphia. And now here we are east of the city, but on the turnpike. My pulse went up over 110 again as we passed outside the city of Philadelphia. But it didn't happen because we didn't go into New York. Passing New York City, it didn't do it. But we were maybe 10 miles away or more from New York City proper. And that was 2009.
Right. And it's probably many times more than that right now in terms of the electromagnetic radiation. I was traveling within the last year near Washington, D.C., kind of trying to get around the city. And I had the same exact experience that you did, Dr. Shealy. You're behind the wheel, and there are cars everywhere, and they all know where they're going because they're there all the time. But for the rest of us, it was not pleasant. It really wasn't, and I know my heart rate went up as well. So I typed into antennasearch.com an address kind of in the city of Springfield, Missouri. 82 towers, 456 antennas. It's getting close to Washington, D.C.
Wow.
So in Springfield, Missouri, 82 towers. In Washington, 90. In Springfield, Missouri, 456 antennas. In Washington, 571. Do you have an address you'd like me to type in for New York City somewhere?
5 billion. Oh, my, isn't it interesting? Well, this is all the more reason that everyone should be practicing detachment. And, of course, I've been practicing that person since 1972, and people have heard me talk about this before, but in my opinion, the number one mental, emotional, and physical, ultimately, best way to balancing the energy in the body is autogenic training.
Okay, we're ready for our class on autogenic training.
Well, in 1912, hypnosis was becoming very popular throughout Europe. And a German psychiatrist, Johann Schultz, S-C-H-U-L-T-Z, felt that his patients were becoming dependent upon him for putting them into trance. So he studied what they reported back to him as they went deeper and deeper into hypnotic trance, and came up with the idea and demonstrated that people begin to feel, as they relax, that their arms and legs begin to feel heavy, like you're sinking into the bed. Then they become warm. And then the heartbeat, they notice, becomes calm and regular. And
Okay, we're going into a break.
After the break.
Yeah, we'll learn the rest of the method for us to use autogenic training to detach. because we're being assaulted on 360 degrees. We'll be right back. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now, with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Bad news, Americans. You're probably stockpiling for a disaster all wrong. When the big one comes, you'll need more than that poisonous, oversalted survival food you now see everywhere. There are 3 vital things that your survival food is missing, and it's the first thing to disappear from grocery stores. Go to superfoodradio.com now to see my story of how I nearly died when I was forced to live on a popular survival food. That's superfoodradio.com, and I'll show you how everything you've been told about survival food is dead wrong. Go to superfoodradio.com now.
This is a healthcare alert from the Pain Relief Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You don't have to suffer any longer. You can immediately qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you by calling our 24/7 Pain Relief Hotline at 866-389-0620. Delivery is free and all paperwork is handled for you. If you are on Medicare and have knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain, don't wait. You can qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost by calling our 24/7 Pain Hotline now at 866-389-0620. Our representatives are standing by 24/7 to take your call and rush you your pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you. Shipping is free and all paperwork is handled for you. Just call 866-389-0620. That's 866-389-0620. Again, 866-389-0620.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Block-It Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockItPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockItPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockItPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Destroy harmful bacteria, allergens, bed bugs, dust mites, fleas in your home with the Ladybug Steam Vapor System. The Ladybug dives deep on surfaces without any toxic residue. Traditional control agents contain toxic chemicals which do more harm than good. Sanitize and disinfect using just water. Quick, fast, and surprisingly easy.
Find out more now by calling 800-997-6584. Ask for Randy. That's 800-997-6584. Or go to advap.com/GCN. That's advap.com/GCN.
Class, I have a homework assignment for you, if you choose to accept it. If you go to your favorite search engine and you type in 2 words, Norm and then Shealy, N-O-R-M, then a space, then Shealy, S-H-E-A-L-Y. Try that. Try that and see what happens. You will be quite impressed with who your instructor is right here, right now, on the air, in this broadcast. Absolutely. You'll be absolutely impressed, no question about it. Autogenic training, Dr. Shealy. Please continue.
Okay, after the heartbeat is calm and regular, the next phrase is, my breathing is free and easy. My abdomen is warm. My forehead is cool. My mind is quiet and still. Now, in general, I do it in an 18-minute exercise. So you repeat each of those phrases, let's say 10, 12 times, very slowly. Put in a little bit about adding imagery, like the sun beaming down on your hands or whatever. Virtually 100% of people will lower their blood pressure significantly the first time they practice that. And if people continue to practice that daily, for a minimum of 6, preferably 12 weeks. After that, you could go down to about 3 or 5 minutes a day for the same phrases and keep your automatic nervous system from going into overdrive. There are almost 18,000 scientific articles showing the effectiveness of autogenic training on hypertension, peptic ulcers, pain of all kinds, from back pain to headache, epilepsy, every known disease practically. And interestingly, improving athletic performance, improving performance in school, and improving performance in business. Now, I'm making a special offer, and this is only to people listening right now. Please don't listen to the replays and continue sending me requests, because I get enough live ones. If you will send me an email, norm@normshealy.com, and request autogenic training, I will send you at no charge an MP3. You can download it and use it at home, but not in the replays, only during those who are listening right now. norm@normshealy.com.
There you go. There you go. And Dr. Shealy, as you were saying that, I was doing exactly what you said. And when I'm behind the microphone, I sit upright. I sit on the edge of the swivel chair. I don't slouch back in it. I sit upright at the microphone. And as you were saying it, I became more and more relaxed, and I could feel that I was not sitting as upright, and I was pretty close to falling asleep. I was that relaxed, and I was thinking that this would be something for those who feel that they have to get some sleep. They're wired. They're going to a meeting tomorrow. It's going to be really stressful, and they've got to get a good night's sleep, but they can't sleep because they're worried about it. Wouldn't this be perfect for that? Lying in bed, just
absolutely. This can help people get to sleep or go back to sleep. I mean, I do consider there are hundreds and hundreds of mental self-regulation tools, but there's not one with as much scientific study and proof behind it that comes close to autogenic training.
There you go. So you heard the offer, class, at norm@normshealy.com, and he'll send you an MP3 of autogenic training. But you've got to be listening live during this broadcast right here at usapreparedness.com. Dr. Shealy and I will be right back. And Dr. Shealy, I'd like to mention what I learned about the shortage of dermatologists in Missouri. And Fukushima. There are some radioactive wild animals running around, wreaking havoc. Yes, and then donated organs. Can you get cancer from getting a kidney from someone who had cancer? Let's talk about that. We'll be right back. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
My name is Don Wiskin, and at 42 years old, I suffered a massive heart attack and was told I'd be on disability for the rest of my life. What did I do? I created Extendivite, a garlic and cayenne mix of 7 herbs which rebuilt my heart and gave me back my life. For over 17 years now, I have made this formula available to you, so you don't have to suffer the same thing I did. Clean your blocked arteries and strengthen your heart and boost your natural immune system. I'm 60 years old now and I still work every day. To get your Extendivite, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com. Extendivite is only $69.95 for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com. Dr. Norman Shealy is with us. Dr. Shealy, during the previous hour, I mentioned that I learned recently about a shortage of dermatologists in Missouri. And most dermatologists are not taking new patients at all. And if you are already a patient of a dermatologist, it takes 5 to 6 months to get an appointment. Meaning, if you literally, I'm not kidding, I'm not exaggerating. I confirmed this yesterday with a medical doctor, and it's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. So someone in the Springfield, Missouri area, if he or she needed to see a dermatologist, with pulling some strings and getting another doctor to refer a patient, it would you'd probably have to go clear across the state from the middle of the state to St. Louis to get an appointment.
It doesn't pay to get skin diseases these days.
Well, right. And what is, we've been told about skin cancer and stay out of the sun and use sunscreen and, big hats and long sleeves, right? So we do need to take all the precautions that we can.
I'm glad you brought that up, Vince. I honestly believe, unequivocally, this is the time to mention what I think every human being should be doing as a prophylactic, preventative, to prevent as much as possible one can skin cancer. And that is, we know that beta-carotene, or vitamin A, is one of the most protective of the skin. So let's talk about that for a moment. Now, at one time, when I developed allergies after having a big batch of antibiotics, I brought them under control by taking 500,000 units of beta-carotene a day. The interesting thing is I learned with that I didn't burn. I didn't have any trouble with sunburn. Now, I converted at least 10 years ago to astaxanthine, which is another member of the vitamin A family. Astaxanthin. Now, I take 20 milligrams a day. I think all adults ought to be taking at least 10 milligrams a day of astaxanthine. I consider that, of all the four that I'm going to mention, the most critical. And if you have very sensitive skin and burn easily, you ought to go to 20 milligrams a day of astaxanthine. Very safe. Excellent antioxidant properties for many things other than preventing skin burn. In second, you need adequate vitamin C. Now, adequate is a minimum of 1,000 milligrams a day. But if you're trying to compensate for the extra vitamin A or astaxanthine, you probably should take 2,000 milligrams a day. And for that, I recommend Dr. Shealy's youth formula. 4 a day of those will give you that. And then you need vitamin E, because all of these work energetically together. In other words, if you have only one of them, you get about a fourth as much of the total antioxidant capacity because it's used up. But if it's got the vitamin C, the vitamin E, and the vitamin A, they restore one another as you metabolize them. And as vitamin E, of course, the premium is Kyani Sunset, 3 little capsules of that a day. Now, in addition, everybody should be on adequate vitamin D as in David 3. Again, I take 50,000 once a week. That's what I recommend to all adults weighing 140 pounds or more. You could do maybe every 2 weeks if you weigh under 140 pounds. I think that is the minimum vitamin supplement for everybody. There are others that could be useful for other things, but just as a preventive, not only for skin problems, but for cancer, by the way. All of those 4 taken together improve your immune system more than anything else that we know. I'm off my soapbox.
Well, I'm really glad you said that, Dr. Shealy, and I'll tell you why. Several of our instructors have been off the air talking about intuition, thinking with our gut. Can't explain why we turn, we're in the vehicle and we're traveling and we say, you know what, I'm going to turn here. I don't think it's going to be so good if we continue going straight. So we turn off the road and then we find out there was an accident up ahead or there was road construction. So a lot of us are flying more by our intuition than ever before. So yesterday, I was at a food store and I was looking for peppers, as I mentioned before, cayenne peppers, and I ended up buying 3 bags of carrots. And Mrs. Finelli said, "Oh, you got some carrots?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." "You have more?" "I got some more." And I got 3 bags of carrots, and she said, "So what do you do with those?" And I said, "I'm going to eat them." Now, you mentioned beta carotene. Can I eat real carrots for the beta carotene?
Absolutely. I would say, no, you probably need of regular-sized carrots about 3 a day.
There you go. 3 carrots a day. So I'm good for about 10 days at the most with 3 bags of carrots. There you go. So seriously, class, we're thinking more with our intuition. Something told me I need more carrots. And Dr. Shealy, when I was growing up, elementary school, eat carrots so you won't need glasses. Eat carrots so you won't need glasses. Is there any truth to that?
Oh, absolutely. Again, the eyes need beta-carotene, among other things, and in particular, I don't have any idea how many carrots it takes to make, let's say, 8 ounces of carrot juice. I have played with juicers in the past, but never found one I really enjoyed using. And I have to admit, I'm somewhat habituated to Bolt Holt, B-O-L-T-H-O-L-T. They make a 52 or 4 ounce jar bottle of pure, wonderful carrot juice. And I do drink one of those a week at least. So I get at least 7.5 ounces of carrot juice, which I imagine is 8 or 10 carrots.
So, Dr. Shealy, if we ate the way it was recommended back in the 1950s to 1960s, carrots, spinach, nuts, fruit, apples, peaches, plums, pears, some meat, lean meat, wouldn't we be better off than we are right now? Because what I'm seeing as I travel, people are getting heavier, and I don't think they want to be heavier. I just don't think they realize what's doing it. So they put on a couple pounds, and they put on a couple more pounds, and a couple more, and pretty soon it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 100, sometimes 200, sometimes more.
Well, there's no question that is too much carbohydrate for the protein and fiber. On the other hand, if you buy your food at a grocery store, even if it says organic, I don't trust the label. I'm not willing to pay twice as much for something just because the grocery store says organic. Now, I raise a huge amount of my vegetables. Probably, personally, at least 90% of the vegetables I consume myself. But when I have guests, I don't have it in the winter, for them especially, and I buy it at a grocery store. But I don't think you can get out of the grocery store produce the vitamins and minerals because they're not raised on good soil. So you need supplements, in my opinion. And then there's one other, and you mentioned not too long ago today about the radioactive animals. Well, if the animals are radioactive, that means we're getting it too, one way or another, and that prevents our thyroid or even damages our thyroid. And so one of the main causes of that increasing weight is an inactive thyroid. And there's one simple, totally inexpensive test. Your temperature. In the morning, before you get out of bed, check your oral temperature for 5 minutes. If your temperature is below 97.6, you're hypothyroid, underactive thyroid. That means even iodine may not help, but you're going to start with that. But if your temperature, once you've been out of bed a couple of 3 hours, is consistently below 98.6, you're hypothyroid. And that is a prime cause of the increasing rate of overweight and obesity.
And I was reading this morning that the rate of diabetes in the world is 4 times what it was, 4 times globally what it was in 1980.
And again, this is partly radiation and partly junk food.
Well, if you go to a restaurant, in the last 10 years, I can't imagine any waitress or waiter saying to you, "So, what do you think about the nutrition we had in that meal? Was that pretty good or what?" It's not like that. It's how did it taste?
Right. Well, you know, Ross Hume Hall wrote a book in the mid-'70s called Food for Naught, Food for Nothing. And he pointed out that even then, the produce sold in the grocery stores was highly deficient in magnesium and vitamins and minerals because it was grown on soil that was inadequate. And so here we are 50 years later, 40 some odd years later, and the food certainly can't be as good as it was in 1975.
Right. And this afternoon after the broadcast, I'll be rototilling in some cow manure that is aged that was shoveled out of our barn. Literally. It's several years old. And we shoveled it out of the barn, put it on the trailer, brought it from the barn to the raised bed garden, and in it goes. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
My computer is so slow, it's making me crazy.
I used to have that problem.
Did you quit using a computer, or did you buy a new one?
No, I called Geeks On Site. They made an appointment to visit my home and showed up the same day.
You mean they didn't ask you to bring your computer to a shop? That's what happened when I called a support company.
Geeks On Site can go to your home or business or even repair your computer online. They have 24/7 emergency service.
If you are having problems with your PC or Mac, call Geeks On Site, 1-800-591-1682. Our friendly certified computer repair experts are available 24/7. Call now for a free diagnosis, 1-800-591-1682. Data recovery, virus removal, and maintenance for all laptops, desktops, printers, and networks. That's Geeks On Site for friendly certified computer repair experts, available 24/7 over the phone or in your home or business. Just call 1-800-591-1682. That's 1-800-591-1682, 1-800-591-1682.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Hi, my name is Nick Lupo. One World Whey has been by far the best protein that I've ever had. I take it 3 times a day. Once in the morning as soon as I wake, once for a pre-workout snack, and once for a post-workout recovery drink. It has helped me transform and sculpt my body into what I have now. I began taking the product about 2 years ago, and boy, let me tell you, I'm in the best shape of my life. I've seen major muscle mass gains and have 0% body fat. I have had people at my gym ask if I compete in bodybuilding because of how lean and muscular I am. I used to suffer from everyday aches and pains from hard manual labor my whole life, and arthritis that runs through my family. But One World Whey has helped me take that everyday pain from a 10 to a 3. Some days I feel no pain at all, just full of life and energy. It has also helped my skin look younger and healthier. Thank you, Synergistic Nutrition, for One World Whey.
Call 888-988-3325 or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworldwhey.com.
Hello, this is Dr. Joel Wallach, the Dead Doctors Don't Lie guy. And I'm going to be in Fort Worth, Texas on Thursday, April 14th for a free seminar. If you have anybody or yourself, if you have high blood pressure, diabetes, arthritis, dementia, you have macular degeneration, thyroid problems, or anything else going on, come to our seminar. Registration is 6:30. Actual seminar starts at 7. And for more information, contact Ms. Brandy Brogdon, 615-389-7733.
Class Dr. Norman Shealy's with us, and we'll talk more about Fukushima and the wild animals in just a couple minutes. Kyle in Montana is joining us. Kyle Harris, USAPrepares.com instructor. Welcome, Kyle.
Good morning, Vince and Dr. Shealy.
Hey, welcome.
Yeah, Dr. Shealy, I got a question for you. You were mentioning that you didn't, I think I heard you right, when you said if somebody has hypothyroidism, that iodine would not help. Can you name something then that would help, if I heard you correctly?
Yes, I said iodine may not help because it could have been blocked by the excess iodine, or the radioactive iodine, I mean. On the other hand, here's what I recommend. One should take a maximum of 1.5 milligrams of iodine a day. Now, you can do that in 2 ways. One is to get liquid drops, liquid iodine, in its 75 micrograms per drop. So you take about 20 drops. Or you could take the triple iodine formula, iodoral or Swanson's triple iodine. That's 12.5 milligrams, which is just slightly above the same daily, once a week for that one. If in 1 month your temperature does not begin significantly to come towards 98.6 after you're out of bed, then I would add Fire Bliss, because what you really need then is to get your adrenal glands and thyroid glands back energetically. That combination will most of the time re-energize or get your thyroid working again.
Okay, that's interesting. That's good to know. So about 20 drops of the iodine, and would you suggest underneath the tongue or just drop it in water and drink it?
Yeah, either way is fine.
Okay, and then your Fire Bliss.
Right.
Okay, working in tandem. The other thing I was going to ask is, dealing with carrots. Aren't carrots like probably one of the most toxic vegetables that you grow? I mean, I've heard of farmers that grew carrots in order to absorb a lot of the chemicals and garbage out of their soil.
Well, of course, as you know, I don't like to buy anything like that in a grocery store.
Right.
Because growing it in what I call real soil, it's like real food. You grow it in real soil that has been truly naturally managed for 10 years or more, you're not going to have any toxins.
All right. I was just curious because that's one thing that we always, if we buy it, which we can grow now, a ton of them, but I mean, that's one of the things that I always bought organic. It's the best that you can get, your best guess. But
exactly. No, you're right. There's no question. And I would say, another of the super foods is beets. 2 ground root products that beets are the single strongest naturally occurring food for helping you make nitric oxide. The problem is to get it out of, let's say, beet itself, you'd have to eat about a quart a day. But that would help your blood pressure and all the other things that nitric oxide can do. That's why I prefer Nitro Extreme, because you're talking about 15 drops twice a day instead of 32 ounces a day.
Yeah, I was wondering on those beets. Vince had Tom Tracy on, which I'm acquainted with him. No, I mean, I wouldn't. He's a good man, and I was wondering about making a tincture out of beets.
Well, you don't need to make a tincture because I'm not sure you could concentrate it enough to make it worthwhile. The tincture's got alcohol in it. But plain old beet juice. Now, you could, if you, get, and you can buy bottled beet juice, and some of them are labeled organic. I think you'd have to drink about 16 ounces a day to get the equivalent of the nitric oxide or the Nitro Extreme. Wow.
Well, all right, good things, gentlemen. I'll let you go.
Thanks, Miles.
Thanks, Kyle. When we come back, class, we're going to be talking about the radioactive animals, and we'll talk about the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen, based on what Kyle just mentioned, talking about vegetables. We'll be right back.
Planning to buy food storage? Wait a minute. Many companies try to confuse you with the number of servings they sell. It's not about the number of servings, it's about the number of calories. In emergencies, calories mean survival. Go to ReadySupplyFoods.com for a comparison of leading companies. Ready Supply Foods sells the most calories per dollar of any company. Our 23 entrees and breakfasts are delicious and full of nutritious calories. The new leader in value and quality. Go to ReadySupplyFoods.com today.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Something shocking just happened in a Coast Guard unit in San Diego. The old guys in the unit have turned the tables and are now destroying the young bucks in head-to-head fitness tests. How is this even possible? Turns out the old guys in this unit have been part of a special test group for a doctor-formulated fountain of youth drink called Patriot Power Greens. Patriot Power Greens has been so effective for many of the older soldiers that it's made their achy joints, stiff muscles, and lack of energy a thing of the past. Previously, this drink was only available to elite military units. But for a limited time, the creator of Patriot Power Greens has set aside a small number of free sample packs specifically for our conservative friends. But you must act fast. Due to the high demand from members of the Coast Guard, our supply is extremely limited right now. To claim your free samples of Patriot Power Greens, go to greens75.com. That's greens75.com. greens75.com.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares unfiltered and untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $7.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
Remember Pearl Harbor. Now you can buy, for the first time ever, the 75th anniversary Pearl Harbor legal tender solid gold coin from the U.S. Money Reserve. Call 1-800-329-6700 right now or go online to usmoneyreserve.com. 1-800-329-6700.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market. The gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Class Dr. Norman Shealy's with us, and if you'd like to get his free newsletter, it's issued multiple times per week. You can go to normshealy.com, NORMSHEALY.com. Dr. Shealy, when Mrs. Finelli and our children go to the food store, there are certain things that we don't like to buy. because there's a list of what's called the dirty dozen. And these are produce items that seem to have a high level of pesticide residue in them. And let me just read them. And for 2013, I just happen to have the 2013 list, and the list may change from year to year, but many of the items just continue to have the same high levels of pesticide residue. So the dirty dozen: apples, celery, strawberries, peaches, spinach, imported nectarines, imported grapes, red, orange, and yellow sweet bell peppers, potatoes, blueberries, lettuce, and kale and collard greens. Okay, those are the list of the 2013 dirty dozen. Now there's the clean 15. Now that would be sweet non-GMO corn, pineapple, avocado, asparagus, sweet peas, mango, eggplant, cantaloupe. Now it says domestic-Mexican cantaloupe is very heavily sprayed. So it would be non-domestic-Mexican cantaloupe that we're talking about. Kiwi, cabbage, watermelon, sweet potatoes, grapefruit, and mushrooms. So those are the clean 15. So I just wanted to share that with our class. I'll post that link on the website during this broadcast. You'll find it on page 1 of usaprepares.com. Dr. Shealy, an article that is quite alarming, but it's not unexpected, is that radioactive animals are roaming the Fukushima countryside. Now, if you think about this, class, you know, there are animals that run in the wild. We have them here on the farm, and you even see deer, in the suburbs. Well, Fukushima, 5 years ago, March 12th, I believe, 2011, 5 years ago, the massive event that released radiation into the air and ground and water, the ocean. That radiation was spread all over, and animals eat plants, and animals eat other animals, and those animals are eaten by other animals, and so now in Fukushima, Japan, we have a radioactive wild boar roaming the Fukushima countryside, and they're wreaking havoc with farmers. Now, what do you do with a radioactive wild animal? Well, the Japanese farmers are shooting them, and then they have to do something with them. Now, what do you do when you have radioactive waste? So you've just killed this animal who's wreaking havoc on your farm, but it's radioactive. What do you do? It's a pretty serious problem. And during the break, I was talking with John, our engineer, about the Hanford Reservation in Washington State. And I mentioned that Mrs. Finelli and I have not been buying Washington State apples for decades because we knew of the radioactive waste that is leaking all over that area. And exactly what we're talking about here with the wild boar that are roaming the Fukushima countryside. We have wild animals, deer, rabbits, birds, okay, that are eating in and around the Hanford Reservation, where there are leaking radioactive waste barrels, and radioactive waste was sprayed on the ground, and it's traveling outward from the Hanford Reservation because the animals are carrying this radioactivity in their bodies, and then they are peeing and pooping this radioactive waste, and then that becomes fertilizer for other plants that other animals eat, and it's continuing outward. It's a huge problem. So I wanted to share that with our class and Dr. Shealy today.
And of course, don't forget New York, North Carolina, and Miami, where there's
none of this had to happen, Dr. Shealy.
Well, it should never have happened because we should not be using nuclear energy, period, for anything, weapons or power, because we have no way of disposing, detoxifying, if you will, the waste product.
We mentioned this on USA Prepares previously, Dr. Shealy. We have satellites in orbit, and many of them have radioactive power plants. So they have nuclear power generation systems on these satellites. And there's no way that I can think of that a satellite, when it runs out of fuel or propellant to keep it in that little box that our engineers keep those satellites in so they don't fall down, when they drift out of that box and they're out of, either we can't communicate with them anymore and put them back in this little area that we want them to stay in, when they drift out, ultimately they will fall down. And when they fall down, that means come to Earth.
They don't go to the moon.
That means that, well, yeah, but they're going to fall down and they're going to land. So now we have these nuclear-powered satellites that are going to land, and we don't know where. We have no idea where they're going to land. And if we can't communicate with them, we can't position them to where we'd like them to land. So they'll land wherever they feel like landing. That's one thing. And then we have in just about every home in the United States, every apartment for sure, smoke detectors. And most of them are radioactive smoke detectors. So we buy them, and then we keep them for the 10 years until they don't work anymore. And then what do we do with them? I guess we throw them away. Now, where is that? That would be in the landfill. And where's the landfill? Well, that's right outside the city limits, right? Any city, every city. Because cities don't handle and process their own waste within the city. They send it outside the city, where land is cheaper. That's where the farmers would be, right?
And
Dr. Shealy,
that's just one of the many toxicities. Don't forget fluoride and chlorine and pesticides and herbicides and God knows what other poisons. No, it's a miracle that we survived it all the last 100 years.
yeah. Susie in Arkansas, welcome.
Thank you. I just wanted to say something about when Kyle called in about the carrot.
Yes.
I know, Dr. Shealy, you've got to be familiar with Dr. Walker, Norman Walker.
Uh-huh.
And I read in one of his books that you don't necessarily have to have organic carrots to juice because the chemicals have an affinity for the fiber. That's one of the beauties of juicing. And at least it's a step up if you can't get or find organic carrot.
Well, if you can get truly organic, that is unquestionably the best way of eating.
True. If you can get what you know is true.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. You guys really...
Susie, here's as a farmer, I've talked with our family about becoming organic certified. And who wants to do that? Who wants to get the government involved with our farming? Now, that doesn't mean we wouldn't use the same practices that organic farmers use. But who wants to get involved with the government? So what I'm saying is there are probably farmers who are using organic practices that just can't say they are because they don't want to be certified, inspected, and detected and invaded by the government.
Yes, and from what I understand, they really have to jump through hoops.
Yeah. I'm willing to jump through hoops, but I'm not willing to jump through hoops because they tell me I must jump through hoops.
Exactly.
I would do that on my own. But I'm not willing to, I just don't take direction very well. I certainly want to use best practices, no question about it. But I just don't like the government telling me what to do.
Then think about this. Is the word naturally, grown naturally, have any meaning? Can you, without having to be certified? Yeah. What would happen if you used that word?
I like that word. I like that word. I don't know. I'm going to research that, but and that's what we do anyway, Dr. Shealy. That's what you do. That's what we do. That's what a lot of our instructors and students do.
But that word natural has been so stretched and abused.
Well, but every word is stretched, unfortunately. and at least it suggests
Susie,
that you're trying.
Susie, I mentioned that we went out to the barn, we took a trailer, and we shoveled by hand cow manure, dried cow manure, on a trailer, small trailer, let's say 7 feet wide by 10 feet long, and we heaped it up there. It would have been a lot easier to go to the Chinese factory outlet and buy a 50-pound bag of fertilizer. It would have been a lot easier. It would have probably taken half a day less time.
Yeah.
But that's not what we did. And you know what happened? Our neighbor came over. I can't believe it. He showed up and he saw it. He saw this trailer with the manure on it. He said, "Can I have some?" Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting that our neighbor wants some of our cow poop? It's actually valuable.
I was raised on a farm. I know all about that. My dad.
But it's valuable.
Yes, absolutely it is. And especially the two, from what I understand, are the most balanced. Like rabbit manure is excellent. And the other one, chicken's a little on the hot side, but it's good once it's aged.
Goat, sheep,
Goat
cows.
and sheep is the other, yeah.
Horse, don't forget horse.
Yeah,
That's
and horses.
a little high in nitrogen, too. You have to be careful of that.
Well, if you let it...
Yeah, but it's one of the most pleasant to handle.
Yeah, let it ferment, if you will, for a minimum of a year, and it'll be okay.
Right, exactly.
Susie, anything else? So we're going into a commercial break.
Nope. Appreciate it.
Thanks very much.
Appreciate you guys.
Survivalist. And my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
75 years ago, America suffered one of the worst moments in American history, the attack on Pearl Harbor. Now you can remember December 7th, 1941, with the purchase of the first ever 75th anniversary Pearl Harbor legal tender solid gold coin from the U.S. Money Reserve. Call 1-800-490-3200 right now for the official 75th anniversary Pearl Harbor legal tender gold coin from the U.S. Money Reserve, the only company authorized to distribute these 100% solid gold coins. Remember Pearl Harbor with this limited official gold release. 1-800-490-3200 or online at usmoneyreserve.com.
Are you looking to sell body armor? Want to make extra money selling body armor at your local gun shows? With low minimum buys and great returns, KD Armor is the answer. Make money in your spare time. It's American-made body armor with the quickest turnaround in the industry, which means you get your product when you need it at very competitive rates. And they'll ship it to you for free. If you own a business, give them a call today at 855-488-KD. That's 855-488-2284. Or go to kdarmor.com. Come and take it.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't pick on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
Class Dr. Norman Shealy is with us, and just a quick update. You know, Americans will spend more in 2016 than they will. They'll spend more in taxes in 2016 than they will on food, clothing, and housing combined. That's according to the Washington Examiner. Americans will spend more on taxes in 2016 than they will on food, clothing, and housing combined. It's absolutely out of control. Class, never re-elect anyone. That means anyone who has been in office, cross them off your list. Don't vote for anyone who has already been in office. Not one person. And Dr. Shealy, cayenne tinctures. There seems to be some magical benefit, medicinal benefit for making a tincture with cayenne peppers. Can we have similar benefits with habanero and jalapeno peppers, or is it just the cayenne?
I think so. I see no reason why they wouldn't be just as good. Okay. You know, my favorite herb book is Back to Eden by Jethro Close. I mean, it is sort of the classic food herbal thing, originally published in 1949. Actually, originally was 1939. The issue I have is 49. And in there, he has more information about the benefits of hot pepper than any other herb. You know, so there's no question it is a remarkably good thing, whether you have it as a tincture or as the plain pepper itself.
Okay. Dr. Shealy, how about organ? If someone receives an organ from, let's say, a person who has had cancer in the past, let's say a kidney, are they at greater risk of receiving or getting cancer as
well,
the
again,
recipient?
if it's an organically raised, truly naturally raised animal, I don't think so by any means. I happen to be particularly fond of liver, but I'm not adverse to heart or kidney either. So, but I only buy what I would call naturally raised, range-fed chicken and their livers.
Okay. How about an organ from a person? You know, let's say you're having an operation, an organ transplant. What if that person had cancer?
Well, obviously that could transfer the cancer, but there's also evidence that it transfers emotions. I have to say, I'm not opposed to people having organ transplants. Personally, I don't mind dying, but I would not. I just am not into, it isn't the organ as much as I'm concerned about the chemotherapy and the immune suppression that is essential for the rest of your life once you've got an organ transplant.
One of the things that we don't normally think about with chemotherapy, and instructor John Regan and I were talking about this a couple of days ago off the air, is that when someone receives chemotherapy and they use their own bathroom in their own home and they have a septic system, it causes the septic system to not work anymore.
It poisons
kills the bacteria in the septic system.
It kills the bacteria.
Yes. That's exactly right. So that's something that we might not think about. Then what do we do? I mean, do we just pump that thing out,
send away that
once a month?
contamination to another place would contaminate. Yeah, no question about it.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Shealy, I noticed that they were spraying chemicals in the air yesterday, and in every direction the sky was covered, and today it's cloudy, overcast, gloomy, and I'm wondering if there's a correlation with suicides and the gloomy skies that seem to be ever present.
I think so. Let's face it. The evil empire does influence us.
They do.
Everywhere.
Dr. Shealy, thanks so much for being with us today. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and class. You can go see Dr. Shealy in his clinic, and I'll give you the phone number, 417-861-5538. 417-861-5538. Thank you, Dr. Shealy.
Have a great one.
How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Do you have difficulty taking supplements? Are you searching for a high-quality, complete nutritional drink that your whole family will love? NutriMedical's Life Support has arrived. All of your daily nutritional requirements in one quick, delicious drink. Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support is a proprietary blend of vegan protein, activated vitamins, essential minerals, amino acids, probiotics, green tea, digestive enzymes, anti-inflammatories, cancer prevention, detoxification, and much more. Your body will high-five you for this one. Life Support is the best complete nutritious meal replacement on the market. Whether you are an elite athlete, have post-operative challenges, chronic illness, elderly, or a family that just wants a quick, delicious drink, try Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support for optimized nutrition in one great tasting smoothie. Just add cold water, almond milk, fruit, or anything else you like. NutriMedical's Life Support. Try our great tasting chocolate or vanilla today. Call 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com. NutriMedical.com for the whole family.